All right, welcome to another episode of Fat Boys Garden. I'm gonna give you an update. This last update was about 2 weeks ago, and looks like the tomatoes that I planted in my herb bed are doing really well. They have really taken off. And over here, just think I bought these 2 weeks ago, and they've already probably tripled in size. And there's I think that's sage there. Got some sage, got some basil, and then down there I've got some tomatoes that I planted that are doing very well. Got some squash that I bought and some eggplant that I bought. I'm gonna get that planted today. There's the watermelon seeds that I planted. Out of 9, only 2 came up. Nothing came up over there in the cucumber tray. So I'm gonna replant my cucumbers today. And then let's go over here and take a look at what we got over here. We've got some sweet pepper plants. I'm not sure which is which because I didn't label them when I put them in the buckets. But I know that that's a sweet pepper because look at there. It's got a sweet pepper on it. And I'm not sure what these other ones are. We know that these are all hot peppers over here, with the exception of a couple. But we've got some sweet peppers in there, some hot peppers in there. And then this is what I thought was supposed to be broccoli, but this is looking more and more like collard greens. As a matter of fact, it's gonna be collard greens today because I'm gonna harvest these bad boys and we're gonna have some collard greens for dinner today. There's my Swiss chard. It's doing really well. Looks like I need to harvest some of that. Then we coming on around. My peas have really taken off. We got all kinds of pea plants. No peas yet. But we got lots of pea plants here. And those are growing like crazy. And then over here is my carrots. I'm giving my carrots a second try. I'm gonna see what I can do with some carrots again. And then these are my potatoes. Look at the foliage on those things. Those things are just huge. So my potatoes are doing well. Looks like my beans are starting to sprout some beans on them. Look at there. I got beans finally. I was a little bit worried there for a while. Didn't know if they were going to sprout or not. And then over here, oh my God, we finally got a broccoli head. There it is. One there and one there and one there, and there's one down there. So we know that this is broccoli now. Finally. And then hidden over here, we got some Russian kale that Myrtle's been eating on, and you can't tell, but she's gotten about 3 or 4 meals out of there. You can't tell though, because there's so much of it in there still. And let's go up here and take a look up what we got going on up the hill up here. See what kind of surprises we got up there. There's my blueberries. I'm gonna go ahead and put a net over those today because it's starting to grow some blueberries. We got blueberries like crazy on here. See the little sprouts? They're just everywhere. So we're gonna put some netting over these to keep the birds from eating them. And let's go on up the hill up here and see what we got going on up here. I know one thing is for certain, this is going to be really surprising to you. I got some squash that I actually grew from seed, and this is what my surprise. Well, let's take a look at this 45-day cabbage that I keep saying I'm gonna pull up, that I haven't pulled up yet, but it's got a nice firm head on it there, and a head there, and a head there. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. But look at this squash. This squash I grew from seed. Transplanted this, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And when I transplanted it, it just started growing like crazy. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to trellis that. But here is my pride and joy. These are some tomatoes that I bought at the nursery. And I transplanted these tomatoes, and these things only get about 2 hours of shade. And I cannot believe how well these tomatoes are doing. Look at how tall that thing is. It's out of the cage already. And this thing only gets about 2 hours of shade every day. I am just thoroughly shocked at how well these tomatoes are doing up here in the shade. Over here we've got, I think this is broccoli. What is it? I think it's broccoli. It's either broccoli or collards, one or the other. But I've had to put some netting over that to keep the squirrels from going in there and eating that. Oh, that is collards over there, and over here we have broccoli. And same thing, I had to put a net over it to keep the squirrels from eating that. And then over here we've got kale. The kale is doing pretty good. They're coming along. These all I grew from seed. So they're coming along okay. And then over here is where I planted some watermelon a couple weeks ago. Put some netting over it. They haven't really sprouted yet, but I'm expecting big things out of the watermelon up here. And this I'm turning into a compost pile. We had fish for dinner yesterday and fish for breakfast this morning. So I decided enough with throwing away the fish bones. That's good fertilizer. We're going to throw it up here in my little compost bed. And that's what I'm going to start doing up here. Just throwing my old table scraps up here, so we can take advantage of that. And give you an update on this. I sprayed this with Roundup last week, trying to kill off this kudzu up here. Because when it's all said and done, this is where I'm going to put my greenhouse up here. It doesn't get much shade. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to completely black it out. And this is going to be where I'm going to grow my seeds at up here. So the first thing I got to do is get all of this kudzu out of here. Then I'm going to cut some of these volunteer trees out of here. Get some of this. I mean, I got a lot of work to do up here before this is ready to be used. But right now I'm using it as backup storage for my buckets, because I kind of thinned out my buckets this year. I've got about, instead of about 260 buckets, I'm down to about I think I got about 220 this year. So I'm trying to be a little bit more organized with my buckets this year, and making my garden look a whole lot neater. And over here, I'm probably going to go and get some tomato plants today. I've already set some buckets up front. This is the last of them. So those are going to be going up front. And then these are just backup buckets that I ain't figured out what I'm going to do with yet. But I'm probably going to plant some beans in those, because the beans don't require a whole lot of sunlight. But I still have a couple more pallets over there to plant stuff. I got one that okra is going to go in. I got another one that corn is going to go in. And I still got to figure out where I'm going to put my cucumbers, and where I'm going to put some more squash and some more eggplant. So that's going to be it for now. This is TJ from Fat Boy's Garden. We'll see you again soon.